What's up, everybody? I'm Dear Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back, and today I am giving you my 10-day review of using the lance. If you guys don't know, if you're watching for the first time, I am a longsword main in Monster Hunter games. I'm a longsword main, greatsword main, and my third main I kind of alternate. I could do heavy bow gun, I could do now lance, I could do some charge blade, but today I am talking about my experience playing the lance weapon. I exclusively decided to try out. A lot of people are asking me, DJ, why are you playing lance for? What's going on? And I'm playing the lance because it was the most underused weapon, and I wanted to challenge myself to see something different, to use a weapon I never initially would use, but see what it's like in gameplay, because Capcom's done a really good job of really making every single weapon unique and fun and like robust. So I was like, hey, how bad could it be? Let me check it out and see all the greatness of the lance. And in this video, we're going to talk about the things I loved about the weapon, the things I feel could be improved about the weapon, and just my overall experience, because this is the weapon I used to beat Fatalis solo. So I feel like I'm in a good spot to talk about the weapons up and down, being able to take down one of the hardest monsters in the game. Before we go, if you want to get your smooth beanie, I got the links in the description. Support your boy. I have merch available right now. Links in the description. Check it out and tell me what you think. Order yours today. Without further ado, let's dive in. So with the lance, one thing I would say is you have to take the weapon for what it is. This is a blocking first weapon. The role you play in your party, if you're gonna play multiplayer, is you are the tank. You are tanking. You should have your shield out at all times, be ready, and be able to hide behind it when needed, and use your attacks as needed as well. The shield, when you have things like guard up, level 3 or higher, when you have the shield up jewel, the shield jewel allows you to block a lot of unblockable attacks from a lot of monsters. So essentially you could just sit there and tank through anything. But the one thing I will say is you have to be in the right philosophy to use the weapons, meaning don't try to make them what they're not. Don't go into this weapon trying to make it a longsword or a great sword or whatever. Let it be what it is. It's a lance. It's Sir Poke-a-Lot. You are a lancer. You get in there, you hit your pokes, you poke, you block yourself, make sure you're good, and you're out of the way. So I will say this, in order to play lance efficiently, you must become the wall. And that is what your goal is. Become the wall. Offensive guard is going to be your best friend. When I say become the wall, it means get used to putting your shield up, protecting yourself. The strategy behind this weapon is technically you should never put your shield away to heal, because you're blocking everything. You have really good defense when being attacked by the monster. But that is the one thing that the second I embraced that behavior, the weapon became a lot more, it clicked for me. And I enjoyed it a lot more because I took the weapon for what it is. Don't try to make it what it's not. So if you're unfamiliar with the lance has a couple of skills I'll show you right now. You can block, you can thrust up, you can thrust down. You cannot roll with the lance. And it's not a weapon where you can roll, you just keep on hopping. And don't worry, if you're on fire or you need to get rid of a blight, you can hop around as well and it'll get rid of blight as well. And you have your shield up like this. When you hit shield in a triangle, you do a little dash like that, which is good for closing the distance. If you get attacked while this is happening, you get some iframes, you don't get hit. After your attack, you can do a circle thrust and you dive, you do another attack just like that. When it comes to some counters if you counter right on time, you can activate the offensive guard skill, which essentially gives you more attacking power if you guard at the right exact moment. But those are kind of the basics. If you hit R2 and circle, you do your power guard. Then after your charge attack, hit R2X, and you do another charge attack as well, an even stronger charge attack. So the second you embody and learn those moves, and you know what your objective is, the one, protect yourself at all costs, get in there, and thrust away at the monster, and just protect yourself, then you're good to go. The attacking sequence is pretty simple. You attack 3 hits, dodge, boom, boom, dodge, boom, boom, boom. Or you can even do this one. Before you go into the full charge, you can cancel that way if you want to give yourself a little protection right there. So The attacking sequence is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's one of those weapons that once you get the basics down, that's it. All you're doing is mastering your positioning to make us, because it's a lance, you want to make sure you're able to hit your target correctly in the right spots. So that's the one thing that you're going to work on, is like your positioning. There's a clutch claw. If you hit the clutch claw, you hit the circle, you do a clutch claw counter. If the monster hits you at this point, you automatically latch onto the monster, and you could, at that point, you can move, or you can tenderize that specific location of where that monster you latched onto it. So that's the attack. That's the way the weapons break down. This is the overall weapon. So the question is, did I like it? And I did. I liked the weapon. It was fun. It was fun to play. It was fun to check it out. It was fun to try a new weapon. And I think someone commented on one of my videos yesterday while I'm doing bow. It's, you feel like a fish out of water, because you go from being very extremely comfortable with some monsters, then you switch to a new weapon and you're like, bruh, I don't even know how I would like maneuver out of the situation, put myself in a good position. So it's fun to learn a new weapon, because it literally felt like I was playing a new game all over again because of how intricate the weapons are, but also too the community. Everyone was giving their tips and like giving suggestions on how to make my playstyle better, and that was dope as well, which is cool when you try a new weapon. It's someone else's expertise. So I enjoyed the weapon. Now, coming from a longsword, how was that transition? Longsword, honestly, it's hard to say, but longsword is kind of similar to lance in the sense of the attacking speed. So longsword is a medium-sized weapon, just like this one. And I would say, if we're gonna put weapons on the speed, well, like bow and dual blades being a speed 0, the fastest weapons, I would put longsword at maybe not halfway, maybe like a 5 in terms of speed. This weapon is like a 6.5. Longsword's a little bit faster than it because you have those boom, 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 boom moves. But this one is quick. But the thing about me is I've always preferred slashing type weapons. That's why I play longsword, greatsword, katanas in general. I prefer that slicing motion compared to the poke, 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 poke. So once you kind of got over that, it was fine. Also too, like the things I enjoyed from longsword I found enjoyable in this weapon are, I love the counters. I'm a counter boy. I love parries. I love tight window counters, and longsword and foresight we trust, and Aya slash we found it in this game with the counters that hit on time. And when you get a correct counter, it gives you this chime that's just so satisfying to hear to the ears that it just makes you want to do more and more and more counters. So as far as my counters, I got that fixed in my last playthrough because I was able to get the counters. Was I able to get the one thing I did miss was the Helmbreaker, Spirit Helmbreaker. I didn't have a massive, big damaging skill when I get some juicy openings like I do in the lance weapon. The lance is kind of like tack, 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 just straight to it. It's a simple weapon. Attack, tack, tack, call it a day. Yeah, longsword has the Helmbreaker, which was like juicy, disgusting damage. And like once you see those numbers, I love big damage. I love big numbers. Once you see them, you're like, it's hard to get over it. But putting that to the side, coming from the longsword to this weapon, it was good. The adjustment was fine. Weapon monster challenging. There was still juicy moments. Don't get me wrong. There were still juicy moments. You get those hits. You can do things like that. You can hit them there, and doing these, hit them with one of those thrusts. You get some good damage. You know, it's just satisfying. But also too, the weapons in this game, they just sound so good when you hit the monster that regardless of what weapon you're playing, it all sounds satisfying. So coming from longsword, those are coming things. I missed the big damage. I missed the swiping it motion, but it was okay. It was good. And just when it came to attack speed and blocking, it was fine. The attack speed is good. I shared it. It's quick. It's good. Blocking is dope for the counters. So the things that I kind of wish that there was more of, and this is coming from the perspective of someone that hasn't played Rise, because I know Rise, they enhanced the lance and gave you some instant counters that I've been told about. I haven't necessarily seen because I haven't watched too much lance gameplay on Rise. But as far as like, I would have liked a little bit more variation in the poke combos, I would say. I don't know what you can do, maybe like a slash poke, or I don't know, something. Maybe like a charge poke. I feel like it could have been like a little more left to be desired. I feel like you only ever use the top one like this, really, because that one does more damage than this poke. So this one's, the lower poke is kind of obsolete unless the monster is downed. Then like you would utilize that, but for the most time, you're just hitting square the whole time. And like I said earlier, it's a very simple weapon. I like a little bit more. I'm the kind of player that I love simplified weapons. I love mastering them, like Longsword. But I need a little bit more like options when it comes to the playstyle of the moveset that kind of maybe a little more flashier. But those are things I know that are improved later on in some other games. So I'm excited to see what they do in Monster Hunter 6 when that ever comes, if it ever comes. But other than that, the shield animation is good. I have no feedback there. That counter is good. I mean, I feel like for me, between using these two, I never really used this one, but that was there as well. Most of the time I found myself using that one to kind of get my counters off. The clutch claw counter, I love that one. That one's really good. So the movement speed, it makes sense. It's a big old shield and lance you're holding. So I mean, I get it why you can't roll, because it would be kind of difficult to roll around with that. So I can't give no critique there, because the game looks good. The game is good. I just feel like I want, as far as attack patterns, I want a little bit more integration with some more like attacks, I would say. So coming back, how would I rate the weapon? I rate the weapon good. If I were to give it a scale of A, B, C, D, with A being an S, I mean S being the greatest and A being good, as far as like damage output that you can do with this weapon, I would give it a B. I feel like the damage output is good, not like crazy, but it's good damage. As far as mobility, I mean, that mobility, it is a weapon. You can't really blame it as a weapon type. Style points, I would say, I'll give it a B. I mean, things I saved there are like the clutch claw counter, the shield, they feel good, they sound good. Other than that, I feel like it was a good time. I love that I expanded my palette into other weapons as well, doing something I never would have done, and being able to take this weapon and be Fatalis with it. I feel good about that. I feel like I accomplished what I set out to do. We are now onto the journey with the bow, so that's going to be the next weapon we're going to take and beat all the monsters again, and go after Fatalis this time again as well. So tune in for that. Also too, don't leave without giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing. Get your beanies, get your smooth beanies, don't miss out on them, link in the description. But this is my experience. Comment below. I think some people went on a journey with me as well, and they're like, DJ, I'm gonna try new weapons also the same way you are. So if you let me know how your journey has been going as well. I know some people say they're gonna join me on the bow journey, so I'm excited. We love your live stream on Twitch. That's where you can catch the action live if you want to come play with us. My family, thanks for coming out. This is my breakdown of the weapon, things I like, things I didn't, things that can be improved. Till next time, Dear Gamer signing out.